What actually happens after the workout is over? Why did Jungkook immediately look for V at a moment that should have been a time of rest? And why do many soldiers feel that the meeting was not just a coincidence? In the last few hours, a shocking news began to spread rapidly in the fan community. Jungkook reportedly met Taehyung right after an intense training session. At first glance, this sounds familiar. The two BTS members met after rehearsals. But this time, the atmosphere was different. Something feels deeper. Witnesses who saw the moment said Jungkook looked very serious. Not a casual expression as usual, but rather like someone carrying a huge thought load. Taehyung was silent for a while before patting Jungkook on the shoulder as if trying to calm him down. And this is where the ARMY begins to wonder. Is this related to the approaching US tour? Small clues began to appear. The training they undergo later is said to be much heavier than usual, even referred to as preparation for something bigger than just an ordinary stage. Jungkook himself had previously given a mysterious sentence. This exercise changed everything. Change everything? Now that sounds like code. ARMY began speculating whether Jungkook and V's meeting was part of secret preparations for the American tour. Could there be a new concept, new song, or even an emotional moment that they will perform exclusively on the international stage? But what left the fans most speechless was one small detail. After the meeting, Jungkook was said to have looked down for a long time, as if holding back something he couldn't express. Taehyung didn't say much, just stood beside him. Silence that feels louder than words. For the ARMY, this moment felt like an omen, as if they were preparing not just to perform, but to face something very personal. And what makes it all the more stressful? To date, there is no official explanation. There is no clarification. No direct uploads. No jokes as usual. That is precisely what makes the ARMY even more convinced that something is being kept tight. Some fans have even noticed minor changes in the way Jungkook interacts lately. He looks more focused, calmer, but also more emotional. It was as if there was a huge pressure he was carrying ahead of something very important. While Taehyung is known as a person who is sensitive to the feelings of other members. And when he chooses to be silent, it often means that he is understanding something that cannot be said. That's why this post-training meeting felt different. It's not just two friends meeting, but like two people who are preparing for a big moment in their lives. Some sources say that the rehearsal this time is not just about choreography. There are new stage details, new concepts, even the possibility of special performances that have never been shown before. And this is where the ARMY theory begins to explode. Are Jungkook and V preparing a secret stage unit for the US tour? Or is there an emotional song that they're going to perform that has a personal story behind it? One viral ARMY comment on social media. If Jungkook has to have a serious talk with Taehyung after training, it's definitely no small thing. And to be honest, it's hard to disagree. Because whenever BTS is seen standing still before a big project, usually the surprises that come are always amazing. But the most touching part of all this is the possibility that the meeting was not just about the tour, it's about support. Jungkook and Taehyung have been through a lot together, from trainees to debuts to the world stage. And ahead of a big tour like the US, the mental and emotional stress can be overwhelming. Maybe Jungkook just needs one thing. Someone who understands without having to ask. And Taehyung is that guy. Imagine, behind the glitter of a concert, there is a moment of silence like this. Two best friends stand after a grueling workout, sharing silence before returning to face the world. ARMY, who heard this story, was a lot of goosebumps. Because it reminds us that BTS is not just about performance. It's about people, emotions, and real bonds. And if true this meeting is a sign of something for the US tour, then what will happen on the stage later may not be just a concert. Perhaps there will be a moment when the whole stadium will fall silent. A moment that made the ARMY cry. A moment that will be remembered forever. Because sometimes the biggest surprise starts with a small meeting after training. That question keeps hanging around, and it just keeps getting more and more nerve-wracking. As more and more ARMY realize one thing, BTS always has a unique way of hiding things before they reveal them in the most emotional way. And this meeting of Jungkook and V feels like the beginning of something really big. Some fans even began to attribute this moment to the old patterns of BTS. Whenever they look quieter, more serious, or more up close after a strenuous workout, it usually means they're preparing for something not just spectacular, but personal. Like a message, like a confession, like something that has been stored for a long time. There is a theory that Jungkook is in a big reflection phase ahead of the tour. The US tour isn't just an ordinary concert schedule, it's a global stage, a world spotlight, and tremendous pressure. And maybe, behind all that preparation, Jungkook realized something that made him have to talk to Taehyung directly. Not by message, not through the group, but face to face after training. As if this was a conversation that could not be postponed. And this is where a lot of the ARMY started to feel strange emotions. Because Jungkook and V's relationship always has its own depth. They are not just group mates. They are like two brothers who understand each other even when there are no words. So when they meet in a serious atmosphere like this, it was touching. There is something very human there. A small moment that reminded fans that behind the big idols, there are two people who can also feel tired, depressed, or even scared. And maybe that's why Taehyung looks so calm. Because he knew Jungkook needed strength.